it's always, yeah, it's always an arms race. Basically, it's a constant battle, and so there will be ups and downs, I guess. For the time being, it does seem like at least some of the more notorious botters have been dealt with. I'm fortunate enough to have a very welcoming and massive community that is incredibly active. A community that has not taken a major hit in these recent Twitch bot crackdowns. That's right, we're going to do a little bit of Twitch drama as well. Hold on. Charlie did a video on botting. Yeah. So, by the way, what's really interesting about the botting drama and botting back and forth, which we will obviously talk about right now because it's a big story on the platform, and I used to do more like platform-related stories, and I'm going to do that, obviously. A big part of that conversation, a big part of that back and forth is really interesting to have on Twitch because, like, I didn't think that... I will admit, I thought most of the Twitch viewership is organic. I did not, when XQC was like going after Kai Cenat and other like people within Kai Cenat's orbit, I did not think that he was right. I didn't know. I didn't know enough, right? I didn't look into it at all. And I don't even know if he, I'm not even saying like he was botting or anything. I'm not saying that at all. But there is always been this consistent conversation that Trainwreck and XQC were always pushing, saying like everybody's botting, all the big streamers are botting. They never really said I was doing it, so you know, but I just always assumed that they were saying that I was doing it as well because they don't really like me. I guess it's dead internet theory through and through in some ways. I just because like a lot of people kept saying this, and I will admit, maybe I've been too focused on like what's going on in the world and like all of these news that's happening that I just like haven't really paid a lot of attention to that back and forth. I just like kind of saw it in the periphery. He said specifically yesterday, you don't. Yeah, I don't. XQC knows. Like he explicitly said you don't bot. Yeah, I always assumed. I always personally assumed that they were like trying to say I was doing it or something because like they don't with me, you know. But yeah, I saw this big thing. Now we're having this conversation about Twitch, right? We're having this conversation about Twitch, like, oh, Twitch is botting, all their top streamers are botting, and all this stuff, right? And what's interesting about it, people who hate watch you DM the chatters here that you are view botting. I've received several messages like that in the past. Yeah, I mean, people are really insane. My haters are bots themselves. What is really interesting about this is that like every other platform does it in, I think, much worse ways. That's part of the reason why I never thought that Twitch was like even botting at all. Like I never thought that like there were people who were using view bots or some kind of like artificial boost of your viewer count. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because like all of the other platforms have such enormous view counts. If you recall, going back to the Rumble conversation, like Rumble, Kick, their viewership is completely insane. You know what I mean? Their viewership was like so untenable, so unimaginable. Like Dan Bongino is like 100K streamer. You know what I mean? Like that's not real. That's just simply not real. If that was the case, he would be like the iShow speed for everyone over the age of like 40 that spends time online. You know what I mean? Like it's just not like he would get mobbed everywhere he goes. Like that's not the type of person Dan Bongino is. I wouldn't even go so far as to say like, even though he's a nationally prominent political figure, I don't think he's like as well known as someone like myself even. And he's the deputy director of the FBI and also was on like, you know, NRA TV and even Fox News. I stand by that. I don't think that he is like, if there was an adequate way to measure Q ratings like people used to do, I'm, you know, aging myself here. That's like a thing that people used to do, like a Q rating, a Q score to figure out like how famous someone is. Like, I don't think Dan Bongino has more motion than I do in general. Of course, it's very difficult to measure that sort of thing now with the way the internet works. Cause like you can have just like a TikToker with the most loyal designated fandom and you just never heard of them, but they have like a diehard group of Fedayeen that will die for this TikToker, you know? So basically as I was saying, because there were bots so heavily, so prominent in other websites, I just genuinely didn't think that Twitch had that big of a botting problem. And I did place a lot of emphasis on like the culture shifting dramatically on this platform by looking at view counts. It's something that I have to admit. Asmongold having 50K to 60K viewers every day made me think that organically there was a lot more right-wingers on this website than I ever previously thought there were, because he's right-wing. He's right-wing. He's a right-wing content creator, and his YouTube does incredible numbers. You know, he's getting millions and millions of views. And it made me think, by looking at those metrics, it made me think maybe I placed too much emphasis on that. It made me think that a lot of these platforms are becoming more and more right-wing. But it turns out that his viewer count actually was maybe a little boosted. And this isn't to say like he was doing it deliberately to himself. Okay, I'm not saying that at all, because like someone else can basically artificially boost your view count. Someone else can bot your page. This has happened to me before as well. And for the past 2 days, Asmongold has had around the same viewership that I have. And it seems like there was that additional, like he went from 40K to 50K, sometimes 60K, to like 25 to 35K range that I've been at. So I think like once Twitch said that they were going to crack down on the bots, all of a sudden a bunch of people saw big cuts in their viewership. XQC reports Twitch has cracked down on bots in the 2-3 days, and viewbotters and victims of viewbotting have been exposed. Streamers that are parts of groups/orgs are seemingly being botted much more heavily. I don't want to start witch hunts, but the data is interesting. Go see for yourself. TwitchTracker.com. You can click on any streamer you want and then tap streams. From there, I would compare 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of August performance and match it against usual performance. It gives a good idea of what's happening. This when it comes to this sort of stuff, literally turns into a human. I don't know how he became like a tech reporter all of a sudden. This is like so well written and so coherent. How did this happen? This guy that eats his toenails on camera goes,
It took a lot of damage. I dropped him back by accident, like an idiot.
Bro, what the what?
Every day, when it comes down to like industry specific shit, he's so locked in. Like he turns into like a real adult who is like a tech reporter or something. Zach Boosie ass mother. All of a sudden, he got free school in Quebec. That's how. I just don't understand how this dude turned into a coherent demon all of a sudden when we're talking about bots, when we're talking about like who's botting what, how are they botting all this. It's not AI. XQC's always been coherent on Twitter. Back in the day, you'd say he's actually smart. Yeah, but I think his brain capacity eroded over the last like 3-4 years as well. You know, there's only so much book you can do until it rips your spinal cord apart a little bit. TwitchTracker.com. You can click on any streamer you want and then tap streams. From there, we'll compare 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of August's performance and match it against usual performance. It gives a good idea of what's happening. I've been thinking, why orgs would bot heavily? Then the answer seemed almost obvious. Talent agencies receive a percentage from ad streams that talent does. By inflating their streamers, they can sell massive ad packages in bulk and take in much higher sums. To put simply, fraud. So this is speculative, but it makes sense because as I've said before, botting actually for orgs, or like, you might ask yourself, why would someone do this? Is it pure ego? Ego plays a role in this, but it's a marginal role. Okay. The real reason why people do this is because, to give you a little bit of background information, I've been on both sides of this. Like, I've literally sold inventory when I was at the Young Turks. It's not insecurity. Some people do it for insecurity, but a lot of people actually do it if they are doing it because for two primary reasons. One, Hasanabi, you are botted right now. Yes, that's why I have 21K viewers. So it's actually not it's not necessarily insecurity. It's not the biggest factor here. There's two reasons. Okay. Number one, Twitch is a very top heavy platform. So when you're at the top of the directory, whether with fake viewers or not, you all of a sudden get an influx of real viewers that come in as well. This is why being on the front page helps, right? When you're on the front page, you automatically get anyone who's clicking on twitch.tv and their views logged as one of your views, right? Like your viewership skyrockets when you go on the front page. And that artificial boost doesn't directly lead to people just like clicking onto your stream and like watching you and becoming a loyal fan or whatever. But that artificial boost alone puts you at the top of the directory. And that's usually how people, because there's no real like discovery function on Twitch, that's usually how people find content creators to watch. You do get, through botting, through artificial boosting of your view count, through that artificial inflation, you do get a lot of real viewers as well. That's part of the reason why people do it. The other reason why people would do it is because you get paid for sponsorships off of your CCV, okay? Your live concurrent viewership. And your live concurrent viewership going up through that artificial boost means that you can actually demand higher pay for your sponsorships, because sponsorships are usually like an hour, 2 hours, right? Like gaming sponsors, things of that nature. So that is the other reason why XQC speculation here is not wrong. Isn't botting super expensive though? You're asking the wrong person. I don't even know how to arrive at like any of this shit. It's like I am too stupid to figure out how to hack, like to you know, download like aimbot or whatever, and I'm too stupid to figure out how to do any of that stuff. Like when the sponsor botted Austin, Caroline, and Will to like 50K. So that wasn't actually botting. What that was something different. It's still an artificial boost of viewership, but it's not actually botting. So there's different kinds of ways that you can artificially inflate people's view counts. That was an embed. Okay. So it's technically, I mean, the impact is the same. You just have a bunch of people who aren't really watching you come across as though they are in the viewer count, but that's basically something that Fextra Life used to do all the time as well. If you went to Fextra Life's webpage, as I have a million times over, Fextra Life's Twitch channel was embedded. So anyone that clicked on Fextra Life to get like a Dark Souls walkthrough or whatever was technically being logged as a viewer on the Fextra Life Twitch streams. So that was an artificial boost. And so my speculation on the botting right now, imagine, is at an all-time low as mobile phone farms have become like 10 times more common and cheaper. Yeah, so if you go on Fextra Life's Wikipedia, or you know, the Fextra Life wikis, like you were technically a viewer of the Fextra Life live stream if they were live at the time. And so that's another way to artificially boost viewership, right? Those are different ways that you can do this. So basically, and I'm gonna do another blast off here. If you had 3 Viki tabs, that's like 3 more viewers. Yeah, the more tabs you had open, the more viewers you had. So I believe Steam embeds streams on store pages, which is similar, I think. Yeah, I think they do that as well. So in any case, that's another way to artificially boost it. And I think that's what was going on with like Caroline Will with that sponsorship stream. I think it was like through the Amazon directory, because I think like Amazon itself has like a mechanism of doing that embed, which is no different than being on the front page, basically. The front page viewership boost is similar to an embed, okay? That's the best way to explain it. So anyway, why would orgs bot heavily? This doesn't seem like a problem for most people, but it's the silent killer. It kills the industry as a whole. It lowers discoverability for smaller streamers significantly and cuts down their income if they ever make it at all. I did some digging and shared findings with others and found egregious instances of streamers going from 100 viewers daily to 5,000 overnight. I was speechless when I noticed. Who wrote this? There is a 0% chance that Pepega Andy wrote this. It's got to be ChatGPT, bro. I can't get over it. This is like the thing that he cares about the most, okay? He cares about this so much. Holy f***. Turns out when he locks in, he can actually be a coherent Andy. What the f***? I find botting really interesting as I do a lot of server hosting myself and counter bots in Minecraft, but Twitch isn't very different. VPN companies are the reason it's so hard to counter, especially free VPNs that let companies route traffic through consumers' computers. Like, I don't think XQC knows what egregious means. Like, I've known this motherfucker for like, what, 8 years? And I've never heard him say egregious, okay? Where did he learn new words? XQC is smart and you know it, just the ADHD situation got him tweaking. He learns new words all the time. We're talking about like what, like a 28-year-old dude. Oh man, maybe he did use egregious, dude, but I just didn't understand that he was using that word in the past. You know, this doesn't seem like a platform for most people, but it's a silent killer. Problem for most people. I did some digging. It was egregious. The worst part: a lot of recent streamers ended being sponsored. A lot of recent streams ended being sponsored. Awful. Here's an absolutely abysmal example of this. The fact that this can go on for years without the platform taking action is just sad, really. If Twitch doesn't care, why should anyone really? So, you have 5.7K viewers watching and you only get one new follower in that time frame. Like, it's pretty obvious that you just, you know, you spiked your viewership through bots at some point and you just kept it going, right? I'm waiting for all this speech to turn into, is this Hasan's fault? Normally that's the expectation, but in this one he won't say that, because like he might like to rip the Hasan cord over and over again, but the reality is this is one issue where he knows, like, I don't even know how to do any of this shit. He knows that I've never done it. So like, but it is interesting that like Twitch revealed that they were actually locking in on this stuff, and then people's view counts plummeted, you know? Also, the one of the methods of checking this, at least in the past, was like looking at active chatters, because there are people who are watching all the time without actually logging on, so they're inactive, right? So right now there's 22,000 people that are watching me. This is normal. If you look at my viewership, I'm a older. I have content that like is specifically for an older audience, as opposed to the rest of the platform. On the weekends, I take a 10K nosedive because I'm just not like heavily covering news. There's not a lot of investment in something that's going on. But if you look at it, I have 22,000 people watching and 19,553 chatters. Now, I don't know. I've heard that people can even like fake having chatters as well. Like, not all bots are actually inactive or read as like inactive. So I don't know. Maybe there's like better bots out there who can even like through AI and LLM technology could like appear as real chatters as well, to type stuff in the chat and like spam emotes and stuff to make itself look real. But the reason why there's 19,000 chatters, but it's the 23,000 is the actual viewer count, is because that means that there's like around 4,000 people who are not logged in right now and are watching, and they can't even like say anything because they're just not logged in to the website, and that's normal. Anyway, but he's right. This is abysmal. This is pretty clear-cut sign of botting. A couple different things you can look at is like how many clips are taking place throughout your stream, how many new followers you're getting throughout a stream, how many, how much chatting is taking place throughout your stream. That's him looking at your stats and saying you don't bot.
I don't think Hasan is padded that much. I'm not. I think Hasan's usually shit on that. That's pretty good. That's if anything, it's actually better.
Yeah. My ratio for active users to viewership is higher than the average. If you recall, who was it? Like a while back, there were some people who were trying to claim. That I was like botting or something. Who was it? It was like Yoxic or something. One of those like blue checkmark accounts that was like trying to farm, and it was actually the exact opposite. Like, it literally showed that my community had a much higher active viewership rate than any other streamer. You're pretty Yours is pretty consistent. It makes sense for a news and political content streamer. Yeah, it's like Monday through Friday, or especially when like a big event is taking place, like a world-changing event is taking place, my viewership is either consistent or skyrockets. On the weekends, when I do less news-focused coverage and the adults are just like doing weekend shit, then my view counts obviously plummet. But that's just consistent. It's not like, you know, I'm botting it during the week and then not botting on the weekends. Because if I was botting during the week, I would just keep botting on the weekends as well. But make no mistake, XQC's talking about this stuff, but like, let's be real. I don't know if he's being, I don't know if he's like talked about Kick here or talked about Rumble, but like other platforms do it far worse than Twitch does. This isn't to say that like, you know, Twitch gets to do it as well. I'm not making that argument as someone who only suffers as a consequence of other people botting. I, of course, am in favor of no botting, clearly. Having said that, the reality of the matter is it's not even comparable how much worse this problem is on other platforms as opposed to Twitch, which is part of the reason why I thought it's not even real. A Twitch bot embedding detector extension has been released and is currently showing Hasanabi with a 78% bot detection. Yoksik is using half of a Caseytron tweet that accurately shows 78.3% of Hasanabi's viewers are individual logged-in chatters in order to intentionally misinform readers. Here's the original tweet. Yeah, that means 80% real viewers. Hasan has other stuff to criticize about, but not his stream discipline. They've been saying you're botted because of this. True. Yeah. Who cares? Lamau, people need to grow up. What are the negative consequences of bots other than misleading numbers? The negative consequences of why would Twitch put energy towards this? Wouldn't it be more beneficial for them to claim the extra engagement to ad companies? Yes. But I think, I guess like they just don't want it to be fake, because the big problem here for revenue generation is like, if you are known as like, if your metrics are known to be fake in the industry, then all of a sudden you're going to get like a 20% pay cut from advertisers. So it's important. It's important for Twitch to, at the very least, like keep up appearances as like a premier website that advertisers want to advertise at, so their inventory is more valuable. They can also potentially even get sued down the line. Like Kick doesn't care, because I don't think Kick has a lot of advertisers. Kick is funded entirely by Stake, and Stake is a money printing operation, so they don't really give a shit. That's why they have like, for smaller streamers, they can like actually give a lot of money out just to simply stream on the platform. Whereas you can't really do that for Twitch. Like Twitch is an organic, real, serious Amazon subsidiary live streaming platform. You can't really keep botting. You are right that bots are an internet war. Anubis, the anti-AI web channel. Okay, calm down. Yeah, it's like the cleaner fish sneaking bites off a fish they're supposed to clean. You need a correction mechanism so the faith in the arrangement doesn't dissipate. Yeah. The post and thread will go nowhere. No one will care either. But if I didn't post about it, I'd be mad at myself. I didn't at least try to raise some form of awareness about this before it's too late. I'm going to bed. In a few days, people will go back to calling me schizo over this. Why the hell would Twitch alert streamers that this was happening ahead of time? Some of the most botted people simply have gone live in the last few days because they haven't gone live because it'll expose them. If it's proven these people are botting themselves, it's likely that they're sending fake. What is this? Is likely that they are sending fake stats to sponsors, which constitutes fraud and should be investigated. What is this? The fact that NMP knew ahead of time when the crackdowns was going to happen should sound all the alarms. Why would anyone on the inside communicate this is beyond me. If it defeats the very purpose, clearly we're still missing a few pieces from the puzzle. I've been complaining about viewbotting behind the scenes for almost a year. Ask questions, brother Felix, and you will find the answers. Why did XQC turn into Elizabeth Warren? This is just something that he cares about. This is like, that's it. He just like genuinely cares about it. And he obviously, as one of the like, XQC was a top dog on this platform for like almost a decade. So he is very knowledgeable about like the inner workings of Twitch and the inner workings of live streaming in general. This is his thing. This is something that he knows about. Now, part of the reason why I think he cares about it a little bit maybe is, you know, it doesn't hurt that he's also on Kick. And Kick is known as a platform that bots like crazy. And he is one of the guys who is a Kick guy. So it's both a real interest that he has, for sure. I'm not discounting that at all. But it also, you know, it doesn't hurt that he's like taking shots at like a market competitor. One of the few things XQ cares about is authenticity. That's why he likes Trump. He falsely assumes Trump is being truthful about the things he says. No, I think that's just stupid. Like, If he loved authenticity, he would have never cynically lied about how inauthentic I am to his audience over and over again. Like, I don't think he gives a shit about authenticity that much. There are certain things he does give a shit about. Anyway, Twitch's crackdown on viewbotting is intensified significantly over the last 48 hours. Many top 5,000 streamers are experiencing the lowest performing CCV streams of 2025. Site-wide viewership is down 5 to 22% depending on the hour compared to the previous week. Says Zach Boosie. It's too overreaching. Now it's not counting lurkers, which is most of my audience. I'm small. A quick look doesn't show anything out of the ordinary for a smaller creator. 1 to 5 CCV is the toughest pit to get out of, because the counting in that range isn't great, never has been. You are likely not being impacted by Twitch's view botting change, though. So yeah. Little Bear, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. So yeah, had there been any news about Twitch not allowing people to watch on PS5? No, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. If you want to know, like, I mean, there are a lot of content creators that just like basically went from much higher average viewership to much higher average viewership overall to like much, you know, a significant viewer decline. And it's funny because you acknowledge when you were being botted after it happened, but your actual viewership now is basically untouched. Yeah, if you remember, there was like a weird time. I've been botted, or at least I've noticed that I've been botted. I think like twice or 3 times. One was famously when I was in Japan, not the last time, but the time before then, where I was just like always at like 30 to 40K, which was weird because like at that time, I know at that time zone when I'm streaming and I'm not doing like political commentary, I would usually have around 20K. So that was one of the times that I remember, and I immediately called it out. I was like, this is most likely like someone botting me, someone view botting me. And the other time was like, if you remember, there was like massive spikes where like Asmongold would dip from like 70K to like 30K, and then I would spike up to like 80K to 100K. And that was like a weird moment. It was just like go back and forth, and I don't know what the that was, but overall, that time it was an EROT viewer trolling. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just, do you think this is a permanent fix, or will the bot network make a comeback? I think it will make a comeback. I think they will. These guys are coders. They're programmers. They're hackers. They're selling a service, right, that clearly a lot of streamers want to use and a lot of marketing agencies also rely on. So I suspect that they will inevitably find an exploit, even with like the additional protection that Twitch has implemented. They'll always find a workaround. It's always an arms race, basically. So it's a constant battle, and so there will be ups and downs, I guess, but it's for the time being, it does seem like at least some of the more notorious botters have been dealt with. Train explaining how they work, mother journalists now. That's what I'm saying. If this is real and you've done this right, you're about to realize 80% of your top 100 new generation English-speaking streamers are botting 50% or more of their viewership. First, they manufacture false hype, and then they hide it behind collaborative events that make the view count appear to make sense to the general public or other real streamers. They're hoping to pull real audiences from that don't understand basic viewership dynamics or analytics. Now, understand that this technique has worked and has appeared to successfully create many new generation streamers' careers, but it has taken away and takes away opportunity, discoverability, and money from real hardworking streamers who do not bot and will never see the mid-level or top of Twitch in today's highly inflated climate. View botters lock themselves in the top spots in the directory and create clicks in an attempt to monopolize the section, not with any real growth or size, but with who they will view bot next to further fortify the delusion that they or their click have any real weight or clout behind their own view counts. It's become a dystopian lottery system ran by view botters who think because they bring an outside celebrity or athlete who couldn't pull 200 real viewers on their own stream will somehow add 50K viewers into theirs. That's also not correct, because I do think that, like, if I were to have, like, I'll give you a great example of this. Like, if Ben & Jerry's Ben Cohen streamed on his own, he'd get 3 viewers. But when he's streaming with me, there are people who are interested about that back and forth dynamic, so they will tune in specifically for that. So that's not necessarily the correct interpretation here. Like, it's not, like, I have Vanilla Mace coming on. I have Phase Adapt coming on later. That doesn't mean that, like, Vanilla Mace's average concurrent viewers are immediately going to come in here. I don't think that Adapt's average concurrent viewers are all going to come in here as well. So, like, that's not how that works. It's not a one-to-one. I think that that's like, I mean, I don't know. Or if they collaborate with 10 other streamers who are all streaming the exact same POV, that somehow they will all have 30 to 50K each. It never has and will never work that way. But viewbotters don't know this. They are frauds that don't have real natural ground up viewership. So they will never understand how real viewership or its dynamics work. They are all just attempting to imitate numbers they can't and don't understand. Everyone who knows live audience streaming works knows that TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and outside fame in almost all instances does not directly translate to live active audience one-to-one. It is far less. There are obviously clear-cut examples of this working. Vanilla Mace is a great example of this working organically. She blew up on TikTok. Now she has a robust live viewership audience. Queso blew up on TikTok. Now he has a robust live viewership audience. I was literally watching him last night. I don't even watch Twitch like that, okay? I was watching so last night, and I found out his dog's name is also Kaya, which is very cute. And I also saw this like roulette game that he was playing, and it was just good vibes overall. Anyway, Jinxie is another great example of this, where he blew up outside of Twitch, and it translated to a real large audience. Like, so there is a clip meta, and I would say that a lot of the FaZe content creators, like the new generation of FaZe content creators, whether it be Jason, whether it be Ron, those guys have actually pumped clips in the same technique and have been able to generate real large audiences. Bro, a bot wrote this. You really expect me to believe Train has the patience to sit there and write this essay? Absolutely. Absolutely. This exists on all platforms, but has gone the most unchecked on Twitch. When it's obvious who is botting and who is not, the problem isn't bad. But when you can no longer tell who is who is not, that's when you know the problem is at its worst. Important. Keep in mind, I suspect there are streamers who don't even know they are being botted because they themselves have been fooled by the tactics I've talked about above and are being botted by their managers, agencies, or orgs who then turn around and sell that same manipulated data to sponsors and advertisers. Yeah, no, this is very much train wreck. If you think this is like new to Train, you're out of your freaking mind. These are the things that they care about, okay? Trainwreck cares about this. Okay, he cares about it for the same exact reasons that XQ cares about it. Both organically, they care about the inner workings of it, but also because there's a secondary interest here to say like everyone on Twitch is botting, they're all fake, and it's a way for people to say, it's a way for people to basically say like, you know, everybody says Kick is botting, but Twitch is botting too. That's it. But I do think that they also genuinely care. I am stating that again and again. Okay. Of course, Kick is much worse on botting offenses than any number of different platforms. And same with like, why are you covering Tran and XU statements when they only care because they're on Kick, acting like this is genuine because they care so much? It's crazy. No, I think they've always cared about it, even when they were on Twitch. They would shit talk this stuff even when they were on Twitch and they weren't on Kick at all. This is just like, these guys have been around for a very long time. So this is definitely something that they're very knowledgeable on and something that they do organically and legitimately care about. It just also happens to be, there's also a secondary interest here that plays a role in why they're, pumping it over and over and over again, which is that the platform that they're on is notorious for botting, Kick. And so for them, it's a fantastic opportunity to slingshots back at a market competitor that is seen as a premier version of Kick. And Kick doesn't necessarily give a shit either. Kick is like, the thing about Kick is that you can't really attack Kick on this issue either, because like they don't really, from as far as I understand, they don't really give a about advertisers. Whereas Twitch does rely as an Amazon subsidiary on a revenue stream that comes directly from advertisers in an effort to justify its existence to the much larger mega corporation Amazon. So it's a major weakness for them. It's kind of like the difference between someone like myself, who is a progressive content creator, versus someone who can just present themselves as a right-wing content creator, right? A crazy right-wing content creator can be as big as a demon as they want, because after all, they're a capitalist, so it doesn't matter. It's not hypocritical. Whereas like things that you normally wouldn't actually see as a major point of contention for any other content creator, all of a sudden become a major piece of drama for someone like myself, whether it be buying a house or having a nice car or something, right? Why is that a big deal? Because Hasan is a socialist, obviously. And if you ask those people where you're like, well, you have like, $750,000 watches that you're flexing. Like, what the do you mean? Don't you think that that's an infinitely worse way to spend money than a dude who like has a nice car? And they go, well, I'm not a socialist, so it's not hypocritical of me. So there's no principled stance that these people take. And And it's similar in that vein where Twitch is supposed to be a premier website. It's supposed to not have botting, and therefore, yeah, here it is. Devin Nash, speaking with the CEO of Kick, estimates that 70 to 80% of Kick's total viewership may be attributed to VBots. Eddie admits it's a large proportion of their viewership data, but says 70 to 80% is too high. Like, they don't even deny it. Like, and it doesn't matter. It's impressive that Asmon is still a top streamer even when you remove half his viewers. He truly huge. Yeah, no, Asmongold has always been a top streamer on this platform. I don't think anybody contests that. I've never contested that. There's a difference, however, of like being a right-wing content creator and having like 50 to 60,000 viewership every day versus being a top content creator who has 25 to 35,000 concurrent viewers every day. Yeah, he was the wow guy before he started doing right-wing politics. Anyway, here's actually talking about my analytics here. I gotta pee real quick.
That might have been his last two best streams almost across the board. Yeah, I'm not ever gonna get at Hasan for like body. I've never even suspected him ever. His curves are legit like every day, all the time. I've never even tried to go at Hasan for that. And I will stand on that until there's something bad happens. You know what I'm saying? Hasan's just a delusional moron, not a botter. I think Ron is chilling as well. Back to back on par is pretty good. Chat, back to back on par. That's 0 out of 2. Nah, Lacey was weird though. Lacey, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say it's him doing it, but I'm just saying like, I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest with you. Back to back worst is crazy. You're talking about the mathematical anomaly.
Never laughed at XQC in a bit. Yoinking XQC's content. Yep. Why did you leave us with this? Why did I leave you with this? Because I wanted to. I wanted you to see a real goat for once. Okay. Crazy part is, it's the small, mid-sized creators who get the hardest. These large streamers have driven out hundreds of millions of dollars from multi-billion-dollar companies. Okay, he's exaggerating how much money they farmed. That's crazy. From multi-billion-dollar companies that have fully pulled out their marketing space. What is happening? My computer is so busted, dude. He wasn't meanie to you, though. Of course he was meanie to me. He's never stopped being a meanie to me for the last... Why don't you use the politics category? I don't know. Am I doing politics right now? I already have the content. I already have the CCL, like, or whatever it's called. You know, if you're going at bot for the appearance of having clout, please stop accepting sponsorships. You're everyone else over. Real large creators bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in deals to each respective platform because their own personal deals result in the expected amount of conversions from their real high viewership. However, for viewbotters, this is not the case. Viewbotters who inflate their viewership by 50% or more do not meet conversion requirements that justify the high pay based on the provided inflated numbers. This then results in the companies exiting the space and blaming the space. So viewbotters are literally robbing the entire industry. Yeah, this part is not wrong. So there is obviously a conversion number that advertisers are looking for. Like when they do these like ads, you know, you have a chat bot that will pump out like a link. You'll have a panel, right? And the goal is to see what the click-through rate looks like. And there's a percentage. But if that percentage is like supposed to be, let's say 10%, right? For every 1,000 viewers, like 100 viewers are clicking on the link, which is super high, by the way. That's not how this works at all. But if you actually have 1,000 viewers, there's only 10 people clicking. But you actually have now with bots 10,000 viewers or 2,000 viewers, and still only 10 people are clicking because you actually have a 10% click-through rate, which would be huge, obviously. It would be immense for a CTR. I know. I'm just using this as simple maths, chatter. Calm down. Yes, that's not a real click-through rate. That'd be unimaginably high. Then your click-through rate actually, in their mind, has gone down to 5%. And their expectation is a 10% click-through rate, but you're only giving them 5% click-through rate, right? So then they go, oh, maybe Twitch as a platform is no longer as viable for advertising. So either they lower their ad rates, their CPMs, cost per mil, cost per 1,000 viewership, or they just pull out altogether. Anyway, this happens because when ViewBot success sponsors, they aren't giving the real viewership. They're instead giving their inflated bot viewership, and bot viewership doesn't convert because they aren't real people. So companies unknowingly pay for the product to be advertised to be fake viewers, blah, 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 blah. It's true. There is truth to this. That's it. We will watch now what Most Critical had to say about this.
I cannot believe Twitch is actually finally making bot busting a priority on the platform. Botting on Twitch has been a problem.
I will say this, though. Anyone that talks about Twitch's botting issue without talking about every other live streaming platform and its botting problems is a little fraudulent. The problem is this is a standard prisoner's dilemma. Unless there are harsh punishments for viewouting, these people are always going to do it because bigger clout equals more opportunities. Yes. Normally when someone is being botted, though, they do get banned, or they're supposed to. This was like a thing. I thought it was a part of the terms of service, as a matter of fact.
Since the beginning of time. And they hadn't taken it seriously forever. But a month ago, they made a statement where they claimed, listen, guys, condoms finally coming off. We're going in raw against bots. We're finally going to do something about it.
Yeah, there's also YouTube Live has a massive botting issue as well. But like, there's so many scam channels, you know, every now and then Elon Musk, every now and then a massive YouTube page will be taken over by hackers. And then all of a sudden it will turn into an Elon Musk YouTube page. And that Elon Musk YouTube page will then immediately try to sell some kind of coin. How surprising. How interesting. You know, it's like Tesla, Elon is streaming now, and it always has like 40K viewers on it. Clearly, that is fake. So it happens on every platform. But I will say you have to look at like consistently, like the platforms where like the majority of viewership is botted. Rumble and Kick are platforms where the majority of viewership is botted, as opposed to Twitch, where there are clearly a lot of people who were botting, and I didn't clue in on that.
And I was excited, like that's something to celebrate, but I kind of thought they were just looking to score some good boy points online, like some brownie points, because Twitch's reputation been kind of in the recently. I thought this was just something that they were just doing for lip service. I wasn't entirely convinced they were going to go that hard on it until today. Wow. They have actually done a really good job here, like in this first wave, of getting bots off of Twitch. Like bringing back down these artificially boosted numbers to what they actually are. There's a lot of examples to pull from. The data is all very new, mind you, but I think the best example is from a channel called Meera. I'm sure some of you have at least heard of this because this is something that people have been trying to put on Twitch's plate for the longest time, about a channel that keeps getting recommended to them that isn't actually even a live stream. For the last couple of years, it is just a farming channel where Meera is just farming ads off botted numbers. She doesn't actually even really stream on there. I think she's gone live like a few times over the last couple of years, but it's live 24/7, just pumping reruns of streams she did so long ago, like ancient history. So look at this. This channel for...
I have no idea.
I think like probably 3 years. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but it's been years. Has been sitting at like a steady 2,000 viewers no matter the time of day. And all the channel has done for this time, pretty much exclusively, is run 24/7 reruns of old streams, yet somehow manages to maintain 2,000 viewers throughout the entire duration of it. Then, the day that Twitch bot smiting comes into effect, it goes from 2,000, then down to 15.
The other side of this story that I'm actually interested to find out is that, like, I wonder if Twitch payouts actually pay you out on the bots when you run ads. Obviously, this is not a thing that I can personally test because I, one, don't run ads. Two, there aren't that many ads to run on the politics category that was specifically created because of outside pressure. And last but not least, I don't bot. So I don't have any way to look at my own internal numbers on that in that regard. But I suspect that like when you do run ads, they do not pay out. That's why it takes like 2 to 3 days for Twitch to confirm your ad revenue. They look for anomalies. Are you sure about that? You always run top of the hour ads now? No, I've stopped doing that for a long time. They don't, as far as I know, there's no real trigger for the ads, so no payout. What are you talking about? Bots don't see ads. They only pay out if you see the ad. If there's 10K people watching a stream, not all 10K people see the ad. Are you just saying things as if you're correct? How could the system know that the bots are not watching the ad, though? I think the bot counts might count as an ad view, as a matter of fact. So this actually is like, cluttering up Twitch's existing inventory and literally giving money to content creators for botting. It's actually kind of genius if it is actually paying. It's fraud, but it's kind of genius because then you're literally fucking probably paying for the bots with all the additional ad revenue that you're farming. Some people are saying they do count. Some people are saying they don't count. I actually don't know. But I'm glad that Twitch is like taking action against this.
100, and then the bot detection, I guess, must have kicked into turbo drive. They went Wumbo style, and now she's sitting at 100 to 200, pretty much overnight. This, to me, is like the most clear example of them actually doing something about botting. I was very surprised to see this. Her channel, which is live right now, by the way, because it's 24/7 reruns, this channel is constantly, or was constantly, recommended to anybody with a brand new account. Like, see how I'm not logged in or anything. I'm still on, like, light mode. This stream was recommended all the time, and somehow still had thousands of viewers on just reruns. Clearly, most, like...
Okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck. 250 viewers for just, like, literally a rerun of some ancient stream is still pretty crazy. Like, that is still wild, bro. How thirsty are mother there?
Rational, sentient human beings aren't going to be watching that. Like, look at the chat. It doesn't move. And this is exactly what it looked like back then, too.
I don't know. Okay says, can we stick to something more serious? I was making love to my girlfriend, and you said something funny, and it made her laugh in the background. It really made me feel insecure, especially because I'm only 4.5 inches, and I'm not sure what to do with this relationship. I hope this doesn't come across as rude or intrusive. I'm just a viewer and a human. My bad, bro. My bad, bro. I'm gonna turn around and start doing some not so fun real quick, dude. I'm so sorry about that. I got you, King.
No movement, there's no chatting, because it's not real. And now the bot detection is here, and you can see that it is finally working. Though I think there are still some bots, like some holdovers here, because there's no way there's 250 people here right now.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. There's 270 people in there, and there's no one in the chat room.
Seems to me like there's definitely still some stubborn bots that Twitch wasn't able to get there, sticking on there like a hemorrhoid. The parasite bot infestation has been decimated but not destroyed, because I cannot imagine 276 people being in this stream right now. Not even as background noise in like a tab they forgot on like an ancient laptop. I don't even see that being the case. I don't think there is a single soul in this realm right now. This is more empty than a theater showing Morbius. Like, I just don't believe that. But even still, it's clear that what Twitch is doing is actually pretty effective at blasting bots, which I didn't expect. Her channel, I think, is the best example of it, but there's a lot of other channels, like big streamers that went live over the last day, where their view counts have halved, or even more than halved in some cases. So they actually are taking it kind of seriously. Like I said, I was a little skeptical that they were even going to really try and take down bots, because inflated viewer numbers is good for the platform. Like, I thought they probably wouldn't actually put a lot of resources to it, but it seems I was very wrong. Now, another thing worth mentioning, this scam of like running reruns with bots is not exclusive to just her channel, but you have to wonder how much money she made off of that. This went on for years, and I'm so curious how much money she made just running old streams 24/7 reruns with botted view counts up to 2,000 to 3,000.
How come your viewer numbers are lower than usual? It's because I'm botting, and not because it's the weekend and my community is 30-year-old adults with a job that don't give a about like culture news or specifically Twitch-related news. And over the weekend, they're, I don't know, doing whatever they're doing. I always have lower viewership over the weekend, unless I'm doing something crazy that's like, or something crazy has taken place, like Iran and Israel are in like heated battle with one another. Yeah, as a matter of fact, these numbers are better than last week's numbers. Last week on Saturday, I had like 21K. This week I got 28.
That's probably a pretty substantial chunk of change. It's got a lot of people talking, and I think this is a really great thing from Twitch, to be honest. XQC made a tweet talking about it, saying, Twitch cracked down on bots in 2 to 3 days, and viewbotters/victims of viewbotting have been exposed. Streamers that are part of groups/orgs are seemingly being botted much more heavily. Don't want to start a witch hunt, but the data is interesting. Go see for yourself. And then links Twitch tracker, which you can see for yourself. And people are scrubbing through with a fine-tooth comb, taking a peek at these big drops in viewer numbers. And right now, the findings are still pretty early, because this has only been in effect for like 2, maybe 3 days now. So it's still like very fresh data. This shit's straight out of the oven. But people are noticing that some of the biggest channels being hit were affiliated with orgs. So like XQC mentions, like some org-affiliated channels were, in a lot of cases, the recipients of some artificially boosted numbers, as evident by a huge drop in viewer numbers over the last couple days out of nowhere. Namely, OTK seems to be the big one. People are seeing a huge drop across the board for most of the channels that have gone live over the last couple days that are with the group. Another channel people have been paying very close attention to is Asmongold. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world, and he went live the last couple days since the bot fisting has come out from Twitch, and they noticed that his average viewers for both streams had been about 20,000 less than normal. About 20,000 people were banished to the Shadow Realm here, and Asmongold even commented on it, believing that his account was probably botted. He believes with 95% certainty his channel was botted. And he agrees that removing these bot numbers and
removing bots and artificial viewership is better for everyone on the platform. I suspect this is a work in progress, and Twitch is still A/B testing further solutions. You can also cross-reference any data with larger website statistics and see its overall impact.
This fake, phony, baloney viewership from the platform is good for everybody there. And that seems to be the prevailing sentiment, that everyone agrees that getting rid of artificial viewership from Twitch is a net positive to the entire platform.
True, it really
is. The only
is.
people that'll have an issue with these fake numbers being blasted is going to be the people that are exploiting them.
Yeah.
The people that are using the bot services are the only ones that are going to be outraged about it. Now, I also imagine the cope from a lot of people that are going to get caught red-handed with bots is going to be, it wasn't me. I must have been the victim of a malicious bot villain, a supervillain twirling his evil cartoonish mustache. Must have been botting me for all this time. I had no idea. And in some cases, like, that is a real thing. There are cases where some people will bot a channel just because they think it's going to get them in trouble. But that doesn't happen. Like, Twitch, for the longest time, has not taken this botting problem seriously. So that whole idea of, like, a bad actor botting a channel to try and get punishment put upon a streamer they don't like, it's not that common. It happens, sure, but it's not that common because everybody knows Twitch hasn't done anything about botters for so long. So how the that possibly still be a strategy that someone that doesn't like you would use?
Isn't it a crime that Osman has bots about people artificially promoting his fashion opinion, meaning organic humans don't actually watch him that much? I mean, organic humans do watch him a lot, okay? Let's be real. Like, so that's still a time. Wait, why did he defend Asmongold? What is his reasoning for botting? No, he's just saying that Asmongold doesn't, might not be botting himself, which I said as much as well. I would not suspect he was doing it deliberately himself. I don't know. I can't tell. I can tell by looking at the numbers that he was being botted, but I don't know if he deliberately purchased the bots himself or someone else was doing it for him. Because, like, that's the thing. Here's the thing. You can have someone else, a malicious actor, actually bot your channel. This has even happened to me at times, and I've called it out, if you recall. Come on, bro, get real. No, I know, but who the would do this costly endeavor for an extended period of time? Because he was getting, if you remember, what was it, the Yoksik tweet, right? Well, not this one, the other one that I pulled up earlier. It was ripped off of a Caseytron tweet, but a Caseytron tweet that showed like Asmongold had 58% or 53% real viewers, versus I had 78% of real viewers. And in that situation, like clearly there were a lot of inactive viewers. There were a lot of inactive viewers that were watching him over an extended period of time for like almost a year. since his numbers went up when he joined Kick. That can't be a coincidence. No, his numbers were, no, you're wrong. No, his numbers went up. 20,000 bots cost 16 grand a month to run. The idea that it would be anyone not directly affiliated with him is naive. I don't know. I don't know how going rate is for the bots, but 16 grand is crazy. Someone was botting Co-Carnage a few weeks ago. Dude is the least problematic. It was wild. Yeah, he blew up. He blew up around the same time where he started doing like more active right-wing commentary. His numbers blew up. I mean, we can look at it. Tracker.com. Go to twitchtracker.com and put in Asmongold, which is what, Zach Rar, like this, I think. Hold on, verifying that you're human. Okay, no leaks. Okay, Zach Rar is his alt account, right? Like he's been using this as a main account for some time now. And if you look at his like streams, this is July 2020, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Like average viewers are like wait, let's go back to the overview actually. If you look at his like streams, his average viewership is like max viewer 89K in the month of February, 45K, all this stuff, right? His average viewership around the summer of 2024, starts really blowing up. He uses an alt account because, I don't know, I think it was like some insecurity related thing. I don't know, right? Overall, I think he just like didn't want to use his main account because people were like yelling at him or something. I don't really remember. But basically what happened in the summer of 2024 is when he started doing like way more right-wing content. I think he gets nervous or something. I don't really care. So he has been, no, it had to do with not wanting to run ads. Oh, I mean, he might have said that too. He didn't want to run ads or something. But basically, listen, he starts doing way more. He starts doing like way more like commentary content. Like if we go back to this month, what is this, like May 2024? Let's take a look at like, or April 2024, and look at his like games at that month. How do I fucking, yeah, here it is. His just chatting distribution is still plenty high, right? It's like 61%. But I suspect this is like around the time where he's like moving further and further into just doing commentary and doing a lot less gaming on the channel in and of itself. So let's look at March, April, May. Let's look at July 2024, right? See, it went from 60% to 73%, right? So he starts, his average viewership starts going up and his max viewership starts really, really going up in the summer, and he starts doing more and more right-wing content. And I guess like in that same time frame, someone might have started botting his shit if it's not himself. Here is like August. He went from in that same time frame, he's going up. His average viewers are going up. He's there's like some periodic game releases that he's like entertaining. But there is like after the summer of 2024, this is way before he went on Kick. He just is his average viewers are going up. His max viewers are going up. Every day his max viewers are around 38,000, 38K, whatever. And by the time the Trump inauguration comes around, he explodes. 83% commentary, a little bit of gaming in the process, but 83% is just chatting, just streaming, just doing commentary. Max viewers at 309K. Average viewers have gone up 53,000 when he's doing just chatting. Yes, he went to Kick later. Okay, so you look at the month of February, 77.6% just chatting. Average viewers are at his max viewers are at like 60K, 50K. There's some gaming, but like there's basically, give or take, like a 20K bump. And also his YouTube views started going up in August 2024 as well. If you look at his metrics, like I assume this chatter says, also his YouTube views went up in August 2024 at the bottom of the page. His YouTube viewers exploded as well because he started pumping like a lot of right-wing commentary videos. This is what I suspected was the organic reason as to why he was blowing up. Okay? I think that was... And I think his YouTube views are organic. I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, right-wing grifting is real for a reason, because there is an audience that's like desperately looking for this kind of thing. They're actively searching this kind of shit. So in that same time frame, like I thought, and it was also suspicious how back in the day, whenever a massive news story happened, you almost get all the viewers in skyrocket. Then suddenly Osman would get the same viewers plus 20K more, pretty much like clockwork. Yeah, YouTube algo does tricks on right-wing commentary. Okay, YouTube algorithm blows bubbles on right-wing commentary. Let's be real. So I thought it was like real. I thought it was like a real organic move on the platforms where people were just, where right-wing commentary was just simply more popular. But now it feels like he's just always been a top content creator on Twitch. And, you know, we were around the same size on Twitch. And there was an additional 20K boost, basically. A 20K boost that put him 20,000 viewers over me in his average concurrent viewership for the last year. Of course, there's like major, like he's also been hit with like major botting in the past. I think like people were trolling him and shit. Because if you remember, sometimes he would just have like 200K people watching. But like I said, I don't think it was done by him. I don't have any evidence that this was deliberately done by him. Just jumped in. Are we trying to understand how he got big or what he's doing? No, I'm trying to look at his numbers to see like where this increase took place, where this like, and was it organic or was it inorganic? How long was there bot presence on his page? Crazy, he's still bigger than you though, right? Don't forget, both of your numbers went down. It's not a right wing or left wing issue. No, that's not crazy. Asmongold has always been a bigger streamer than me. I don't think you guys understand. I've said this before a million times over. Asmongold has always been one of the top content creators on this platform. He's been around for a lot longer than I have. He has a lot more motion in this space, and he's always been a bigger content creator than me. But when he was talking about politics, and my numbers have not gone down, it's just been stable. When he was talking about politics, he saw an additional 20K bump. When he started doing more and more right-wing commentary, he saw an additional 20K bump. So we were both like around the same, 30K range. And then he went up to 50K to 60K in that same time frame while he was talking about right-wing politics. And it led me to believe that he actually was tapping into an organic interest in right-wing commentary. That's right, Cuck. Asmongold will always be top and you'll be bottom. That's true. Yeah, but is he a cleaner content creator than you? No. Can we look at your Twitch tracker for funsies? Yes, we can. It's not like the best way to figure shit out, but I just wish there was like a better way to just like look at all of the data is what I mean. It's a really good way to figure out like whether someone has active viewership or whatnot. It's unfortunately the best possible way to figure that out. The difference, of course, is that like it's just not very user friendly, I don't think, where you can just like pull data immediately and like do side by side comparisons. You look at max viewers, followers, time streamed. Okay, obviously it's not like 40K max viewers yesterday. 31K max viewers the day prior, 33K, 34K, 36K. Obviously, this is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday numbers. Monday always has the highest numbers if you look at every week, or unless there's something big going on, or something major is happening, like I'm going to the protests, and there's like a lot of interest in what's going on the ground, and or Mondays are the largest news days for me. It's not, it's consistent. The increases, the peaks and valleys are always consistent because I'm a political content creator. Like, this is what I do. I do news for the most part. Wow, you did a lot of GTRP? Yeah, way back in the day. That's like most streamed games. Another thing that you can look at in like individual streams is like how many people are clipping, I guess, your stream too. That kind of shows like organic activity as well. But yeah, peaks and valleys are connected to, this is better, the last 2 months. Oh, Sully Gnome. That's right. That is a better metric. Like, yeah, you can see all the peaks and valleys here as well. You told us you were apolitical, by the way. Were you lying? Yes. If these right-wing grifters are botting themselves, pretty good, the billionaires and media are moving away from Ben Shapiro's and Tim Pool's. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know who's doing it. Okay. I'm not saying Asmongold's doing it to himself. I don't know who's doing it. I don't have enough data. Like I have no, I wish, dude. And if it's Russia, I know this may sound crazy, but it's truly advantageous if Russia, for a country like Russia, were to spend a little bit of money to boost someone that is a fascist to get more of a fascistic sentiment and more younger online gamers or something like that. It could probably cost 10K. When you talk about return on investment, that would be totally worth it. Hypothetical, but it's possible. How come the communist dictatorship of Russia is not botting the communist streamer Hasanabi Piker, who is obviously very much pro Vladimir Putin?
That's like you and your buddy going to the public pool and you eat pizza together, and then your friend tries to tell the lifeguard that you didn't wait 30 minutes before getting in the pool. It's like, okay, who gives a f? Like, that's the whole way Twitch has treated botting for the longest time. Until now. I think that's going to be like the crutch a lot of people will claim. Like, I wasn't botting. I didn't sign off on anyone botting me. This must have been some stranger in the back alleys trying to hurt my reputation by botting me for all this time. And some people, I'm sure, will be telling the truth, but it's going to be hard to know for sure. But one thing that I think everyone will know for sure is that this is a really good thing for Twitch. I am so glad they're actually taking this seriously and actually wiping out such huge amounts of bots. I'm hoping they are still going to continue doing this because there's still work to be done. All of these bot services are going to do their best to circumvent this so that way their clients can continue to pay them money for this service. They're not just going to roll over and die. They're not going to go belly up and just admit defeat. This is always a tug of war. They are going to come up with new ways of trying to evade Twitch's detection, and I'm hoping this isn't just like a one-time thing where Twitch blew their whole load here on this bot blast. I'm hoping they will continue to allocate resources to fighting against the upcoming bots that are going to be, no doubt, surfacing soon. But either way, this is a great step in the right direction, and I hope it continues. Just wanted to yap about it a bit. That's it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It is a good step in the right direction. I wish that Charlie maybe focused a little bit on like Rumble and Kick as well, because like obviously Twitch is the premier broadcaster alongside YouTube here, and they rely on actual advertisers, and therefore they have a higher degree of responsibility here to ensure that their viewership is real and not artificially boosted by bots. Having said that, however, every other platform that is a live streaming platform, for the most part, has a tremendous number of bots. I would go so far as to say majority bots, as a matter of fact. Like Rumble and Kick comes to mind immediately. That's why when you look at those like streamer data charts, where, you know, I'm up there as like one of the top content creators, and half of the mother that are in the top 10 content creators for live streaming are basically from Rumble and Kick. And when they actually put those numbers together, like the streamer data charts, when they actually put those numbers together as though this is like real organic viewership, it does end up creating this like weird situation where like, how many people do you know that like genuinely go to fucking Rumble or Kick and they're like, oh man, I can't wait to watch my favorite Kick streamer on Kick, or I can't wait to watch my favorite Rumble streamer, you know? Especially the Rumble thing. Like, that's crazy. If you look at the Rumble numbers, like Dan Bongino is one of the top content creators on the planet, you know? You're underestimating it? No. There's not even that many people who watch Twitch, man. You're crazy. I think it's all just like fake is what I mean.